welcome to today's stream, where we are starting out on our brand new multiplayer map. This is County Lines, and yeah, this is it. This is day one, first day of spring, and it's going to be quite cool, I think, to play this. A couple of trailers, it looks like, parked over here. This is our starting farm, so we've got the house there where we can sleep. Got a grain silo over here with our starting grains and that in. It's a very minimalist starting farm compared to the last map, the Dondiego map. Don't have all the buildings and stuff put in place. I haven't spent as much time creating a farm on this one. As such, we're pretty much using all the buildings that come with the map, apart from one which I've placed over here, which is this one here from the Mercury Farms pack. So there's a little shed here for storing tools and implements and stuff in. Got a combine header there on its header trailer, which also has its handy little diesel tank on it, look, which you can apparently fill up and use to then refuel your combine when you're at the field. Very impressive. Obviously, we've got over here the seed tender. Basically a machine we can use for transporting seed, fertilizer, lime. I think it does do grains as well. I'm pretty sure it does grains as well. Got a couple of sheds there with different objects and buildings in. A couple of storage sheds. Obviously got a big shed there, which I believe's got our harvester inside it. Got the refill points here. These are slightly... You may have seen these on the Dondiego map. These were put in place on field 34 on that map. And basically, we have to fill these up ourselves, bring the stuff over. So this one is fertilizer. This one will be seed. So they do start with a little bit in already, but not much. We haven't got the production stuff set up on the map yet. That is something that will get added in time down the road. We're not really in a position to do that right at the start because obviously we don't have crops and stuff. Obviously we've got our main shed over here. Obviously we've got a hook lift truck with a liquid tanker on the back. We've got our fertilizer storage tank over here, and again we have to bring the liquid fertilizer and put in there ourselves to be able to get it out. So they're not buy points. You cannot buy stuff from these. We've got the def mod. We're going to be using the def add-on for this this server as well. So we're going to have to put def in the vehicles as well as regular fuel. So again, we've got a storage point here. The fill point is this small box, so you bring your vehicles here to activate the filling up of the def. The unloading of the def is done in the big box at the front. I personally, if I'd been the mod author of the def mod, would have changed that around just to make it better, because obviously we've also got diesel storage over here for normal diesel, and this one works in such a way that you fill the diesel on the side here, and then your vehicles you fill up from in front of the tank here in a much bigger area. And again, we've got the starting shed. Now what I have done is, obviously when I was doing my map setup video the other day, there was a diesel buy point here, and there was seed and fertilizer buy points just inside the shed. I removed those from the map. So this is my own edit of the County Line map to remove some of those features, because I don't want people, you know, I don't mind going travelling across the map to a store to buy a load of seed to bring back to put, or fertiliser or herbicide or whatever, what have you, to put into our refills. But I don't want to just be lazy and buy stuff at the farm. So we've got the lime as well. And we've got our shed over here. Now this has got all the tractors in it, I believe. So we've got a little John Deere over here. We've got the 6R or 6X here. We've gone for a 7R here. And an 8X here, which has got some pretty meaty tyres on it, I have to say. Then we've got an 8RT, 8RT Pro, and we've also got the 9RT over here. So we've got two big tracked vehicles, which I suppose are going to be very useful for when we're ploughing and stuff. I do love the fact we've got animated doors. That's really nice. Over here, obviously, we've got the chicks. Chickens. Seasons chickens. So if we go into the menu and have a look at Seasons chickens, we've got a couple of Rhode Island Reds and a single rooster. They're they are what they are. Looks like it's placed a little bit on the high side, this pen, because but hey, chickens probably could escape under that. But as you can see, we're not on flat ground here. This isn't as flat as the other map. This has got hills and hollows and dips and troughs and all sorts of stuff when you start going around the map. If we look at the map quickly, we can see it's a big map. Got some really impressive fields on this map. Some massive maps. There's a couple of fields, I think, like the likes of like 30, 26, which are getting up towards 200 acres in space. Obviously, starting out, we get this little area down here. The map does also have built-in like animal areas, like for example the pigs down here, the horses over here, the cows there, and then the sheep somewhere as well. Chicken animal dealers up here, the main animal dealers up there. The sheep are over here on this little field. But we're not going to be starting with animals right away. First, obviously, year in seasons, we need to get the fields sorted out and get all the crops and stuff planted for the first year. So we need to be looking at the soil composition. So we've got a couple of fields that are going to need to be lime spread. We've got a couple of fields that need to be ploughed. All the fields will need to be fertilised. So that is something for us to obviously have a bit of a look at and a bit of a look into. Field 9 looks a bit weird. I'll have a trip over there in a minute and have a look at that. But as you can see, so we've got some stuff to do. We've got some ploughing to do, so we might do fertilising first. No, we're going to do lime spreading first then, I think is the case. Which means I'm going to need the case. Let's open, no, wrong shed, that's the That's the workshop. That's where you repair your vehicles. We're going for the big case Titan. And we're going to need to do some lime spreading. Might not have enough. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Right, we've got 28,000 litres. So we've got to go do field 10, wasn't it? Which is this one over here. Okay, we are lime spreading, everybody. Our first job in FS19. Good little machine, this. I love how the back wheels get covered in lime, but the front one doesn't. Now we do have obviously the guidance steering GPS mod installed, same as we did on the Dondiego map. However, it might not be as useful on this map because none of the fields are square or rectangular. So you're going to have to do headlands on every field. I mean, obviously we've got areas on, like here, on our map where we've got some quite wide open areas. This is where down the road I would like to get the production mods and the production buildings and everything built up and set up. Right, so what are we spraying at 500? That's probably a little bit low, I think. Right, I do not have any GPS courses set up. So let's set one. This is really where Helgi's better at doing this, because he's got the ability to put the you know, the little degree symbol. Well, I want that to read 180. That's near enough. And auto width. That works for me. Right. Let's see how we're going to do this then. Start from the middle, work away to one of the edges, I suppose, is going to be the approach. Bacon's on. And we're doing field work. We'll use this lovely Case Titan spreader to put the line down on our fields prior to obviously then needing to fertilise and then plough the field. So that is first row done. Kind of got to watch for the buildings, watch for the trees. Here we go. Line going down. So this is the brand new map. Dondiego, we're kind of done with for now. We're done with for the time being. We obviously reached our goals and our targets on that map, and there wasn't really a lot else for us to do. I mean, apart from keep buying more fields and then having more and more work to do. So we thought we'd come over to a different map. New change of scenery, new start, new beginnings. Seasons mod this time as well. So we've got all that to figure out, learn and see how that affects everything. But it's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. When we left the previous map, of course, Dondiego, I did bring across the money, but I've put it onto a secondary farm to show. So that's basically our incentive. That's how much money we had when I decided to finish Dondiego off today. And yes, I'm aware there was potatoes and stuff like that still to harvest. But at the end of the day, I couldn't wait any longer. I really wanted to move to a new map. So here we are. We've got new mods as well installed on this this playthrough, this series, on this multiplayer server. Using some different mods that we didn't use on the previous map. Some of the mods we used on the previous map I've got rid of. So it's hopefully all going to be good. We'll have to wait and see how we do with some of the other mods, whether I put some of the other mods back in that we've used previously. I just didn't want the I mean, the mod pack's fairly big, I'm not going to lie. To download the mod pack for the server, it's quite big, it's quite a download. The mods take quite a bit of space. The map is the worst. The map is about 1 gigabyte in size. So going to be interesting to see how all that works. There's just no real easy way to download the mods. I mean, I could put a link to the page which has all the individual mods listed and has the download button for all the indexes, but when you're first starting on a new map, you're best off just downloading the whole pack. I mean, it was bad enough for me trying to go through the list to work out what mods I'd got downloaded and what mods I hadn't in my folder. And I had some mods in my folder that I hadn't uploaded. I'll have to check the map in a bit and see what, obviously, what fields, because I'm not familiar with the layout of the map. I have had a little bit of a drive around the map, a little bit of a run round. Obviously, I've been to some of the shops and bought some bits and pieces. Obviously, I bought all the equipment, moved it over to the main farm. Then I went and found the seed and fertilizer and herbicide and fuel buy points and stuff to make sure we brought some of that down to the farm, so we actually start with a little bit at the farm. But we don't have a lot of money, as you can see. We've only got 70,000. We've got basically the 100 grand that you start with in new farmer mode. That is basically it. We've got no loan. I mean, we could take a loan if we need money to buy things down the road. Obviously, our initial, if you like, activity needs to be getting the fields planted, seeded. What I'm going to do quickly, I'm going to increase the time scale a bit. I don't want to be playing at real time because obviously it's seasons, it's 6-day seasons as well. I've gone for. So the time doesn't have to be ridiculously slow. Just depends obviously how many people are on the server. If there's a lot of people on the server, we'll increase the time scale because more people can get jobs done faster. Whereas if obviously people are playing by themselves, they would probably prefer to have the time scale slower to give them chance to get the jobs done. What we'll do is we'll go backwards and forth a little bit. Go nicely along. Go. So that's half the field done. Now we'll go and do the other half of the field. So field 10's a pretty big field, starting out with. Going along very nicely, very swimmingly. I did look at thinking about maybe doing some terraforming around the edges of the fields. Just to give us a bit more room when we get towards like the fence areas and that. Yeah. A little bit more to do around this side. This machine doesn't have def. This one is purely diesel powered. You will notice when I jump into a vehicle with def that we get the def thing show up on the screen. I do have to just keep a little bit of an eye on me hood thing, because obviously because we've got the enhanced vehicle mod installed again. This time, the enhanced vehicle mod, I have changed my settings, my enhanced vehicle settings, and I've disabled the shuttle control. So we should never have that problem of logging in and the handbrake being on, or not being able to move the vehicles. But what I am trying to slowly do as well is on the, you can't see it because obviously the webcam's in the bottom corner of the screen, but the little bar that shows you how much, obviously where the vehicle or tool has got, and the little bar that tells you how much fuel you've got, I want to try and raise that up slightly because the Def mod puts its own little HUD icon there and it overlaps a little bit, which just looks a little bit messy. Field 10 will be lime spreaded, and then we'll have a look at the map, see what other fields need to be done whilst we've got the machine out. The machine is out. I think field 11 needed to be done because that's the normal field you start with in New Farmer. Obviously we've bought a couple of additional fields to give us a little bit more to work in our first year of seasons. And hopefully plant a couple of crops. Back it up. There we go. Interrogator moving quite happily. Not got a pressure washer anywhere. Not sure how we're going to keep on top of the vehicle cleanliness. Didn't buy a pressure washer. Or steam washer. Right, so we need to go to field 11 now, which is this one over here. So I think the bit here on the left-hand side of the machine, I think that's purely like a decorative effect. It's not actually real field. You won't be able to plant onto that. The field actually starts where the previous crop was. Or at least I believe that's how it is. The fact that I'm not able to put lime on that edge bit would tell me that that's not a field. Bit of lag. Let's stop wasting lime whilst I'm trying to reverse. Whilst I'm trying to back up into this corner. Hockey Player 23, thank you for the follow, Hockey Player 23. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. You wish this map was on Xbox. Unfortunately, it can't be because it's a 4X map. Because it has far too many scripts in it, I think, as well, to be even allowed on consoles. Because of all the season stuff that they've got built into it. This is the first day on this map, this brand new map, and I'm the only person on the server at the minute. I'm assuming that the others, when they log into their computers tonight, will be quite surprised to see this map is live and that it's replaced the Dondiego map we played previously. So I'm sure they'll be fighting each other to download the mod pack fairly quickly so that they can then install all the map and the mods, and then be able to join the server. We end up getting the plough out in a minute, getting one of the big tractors that we've got available to start coming out here and doing some ploughing to get these two lime fields underway. Like I said, I went for a slightly different setup approach this time round for this map and this save. I decided not to buy hundreds of tractors. Literally just one of each model. So I'm going to have to share. Also means people are going to have to think on their feet a bit and realise that if they just take the biggest tractor all the time to do a job that it's perhaps not needed for, you might end up stopping someone from doing a job that needs a big tractor. So making sure you select the right tractor for the right job is going to be critical as well. But we don't have a lot of starting equipment. We've literally got, as I say, a sprayer, spreader, a couple of tractors, a couple of ploughs, a couple of seeders, one harvester, and that's about it. That is it. We can't even cut the grass if we wanted to right now, because we don't own any mowers. First time as well I'm using this particular mod, this Case Titan. It's the first time I'm using this in a game. When I first saw it, I thought it was a sprayer, like of liquid fertilizer and herbicide. I didn't realise it was a dry spreader. So it uses the it uses solid fertilizer and lime, so it's pretty cool. There aren't too many self-propelled, self-driven spreaders in the game. I've got a lot of sprayers, but this was I think one of the first spreaders that I've seen self-drive. I also see there's a little bit of the field over there that I've missed. Get the overlay. As I've missed quite a few little bits and patches here and there. Right, so 11 is done, effectively. 33 and 19 will be our next stops then, I suppose. Field 18 is ours, is it? Yes. Okay. It's already fertilised. Okay, just hasn't got anything planted on it, has it? No. Everything's been reset because of seasons. Right, so let's go up to field 33. Means driving back to the main farm, through the main farm. am I doing for lime? I've got 40% lime. I can see me taking a bit of a trip. That's field 18. This is field 18 in front of me. I don't need to do field 18. I'm going to do this field. Field 33. I think this is a fairly sizable field. The good thing is, if it's taking me northward on the map, I'm not too far from the, was it the crop production services building where I would need to buy more lime from. We've got field 19 just over the way, which is also ours, that will also require some lime spreading in a little bit. I think we've got a good selection of starting fields. Different sizes, different shapes. Should make it a little bit more interesting than Dondiego was towards the end. I also like the fact that this map's got a bit more scenery on it when you are also on fields working. Obviously we've got I thought I'd activated cruise control and I hadn't. Dope. Slow down, Mr. Case. Oh, getting some lag. Hello there, Warlocks. I'm doing very well. I'm hoping this thing will play ball in a minute. The GPS will stop mucking about and let me actually finish spreading this lime on this field. But yes, I'm very well. I'm excited that we're on the new map today. Nice to be on a different scenery. For you to say good morning, sir, I'm assuming you're probably one of those people that lives on the east side of the pond? From me? NAM where you are, okay. So you're in the US. %34 lime left. No, I'm in the UK. I'm in England. So yes. I get my east and west muddled up. So yes, you are definitely west of the pond from me. After we've done 33, we've got 19. I'll probably have to refill the spreader at that point. I'll have to go buy some more lime. We're not in a position yet to be able to make any. I don't even know if this map allows you to sell stuff like that. I made sure we had places on this map where we could sell seed, fertiliser and all that stuff. But I don't know whether I did lime. Oh, we've got some weeds. A little patch of weeds growing. I like that about Seasons. I like the fact that Seasons does weeds properly. Doesn't just completely en masse blanket every field on the map. It does little patches here and there on the fields. Much more realistic. So it can help make players determine whether or not they're going to mechanically weed or spray. So I like that. Obviously, I'm not going to worry about spraying those weeds because we will need to plough this field. So those weeds are going to get destroyed anyway once they get ploughed in. Nice little farmhouses. Bit cloudy, but hey, that's spring, innit? That's early spring for you. Air temperature 11 degrees, ground temperature 8 degrees. It's quite a mild spring. And I hope I got enough lime to do the whole of this field. So we're going to be playing 6-day seasons. I don't know whether I've explained that before, or if you've just tuned into the stream and you weren't here at the start. We're going to be playing 6-day seasons. And we're going to try it for a full year, see how we like it. And if we don't like it, then we'll disable it and just play the game regular. I really am looking forward to this map. Looks like it has more character than the Dondiego map that we just played on for just over a month. Spent a whole month on that map. I have to turn my aircon on in a minute, so the stream may get a little bit noisy, but it's getting a little bit too warm in here. A horrible muggy day here in England. Humid, muggy day. It's like we could do with having a good thunderstorm to clear the air a bit. We could. Brushing everything up again. Surprised there isn't more people online yet, to be honest. I thought Helgi would be around playing, unless he's got stuff to do today. It's quite unusual for him not to be online at 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. I mean, it's 5:30 for him, so... Right, the sun's coming out. It was trying to come out. Nice little houses. Got a caravan there, look, one of those little rotary washing lines. Never seen the point of a rotary washing line. Never felt the need to have one in my life. But Americans seem to love them. There we go. Nicely. Nearly finished. I will need to refill this before I can do the next field though. Which is a little bit of a shame, because that's going to be money. I'm going to be spending money to buy lime. Right, and I remember got to find the crop place. The crop production services. That's where I buy my lime from at this moment in time. I think it's on this road. I think it's this side of the main store. I think it's this white building, these buildings down here. On the left, coming up. This is the place. Wait a minute. Why can't I fill that up directly from there? This isn't going well. The GPS, see, as much as Helgi likes having the GPS on that button, to me it doesn't work. Oh, wait a minute. Let's turn that off for a second. I briefly saw a start filling. I could have sworn I saw a start filling. Maybe I didn't. But that was where I definitely bought the line from last time. Is it because there's no collisions on this thing? Oh, wait a minute. I saw a start filling thing. But I had to crash right into that. Right, that's no good. I am going to need to grab the seed tender. I'm going to have to come and fill it up with the seed tender. That's the only way I can think to do it. Because that's how I transported the fertiliser to the farm originally. I'm probably going to have to grab that again. I could see us potentially needing to buy an ice cream truck like we had on Dondiego as well. Right, I think I'm going to buy a pressure washer or steam cleaner. Why won't you let me put it where I want to put it? I want to put it on there. Okay, you won't let me put it there. Righto. It'll go there. Right, so let's give this a quick wash. And then I'll grab the seed tender and go give it a fill up. Go get some more lime purchased. So I have a problem with the trigger on that sell point. Or the trigger on the actual vehicle is in the wrong place. Because I literally had to crash right into that silo to try and fill that up. Right, we need to go to... seed place again. I can drive across the field, it's okay. There's nothing planted on it. Of course, it helps if I actually put all the wheels down as well. Makes the truck drive better. Six wheeling, good morning. Another American, I'm assuming, then, with the good morning greeting. It's quite late in the day here in the UK. Here in England, it's nearly 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so... Good afternoon or good evening is the more appropriate greeting. That fills up nicely. Here's Linux. About 17 minutes of morning left, yeah. It's about the same, that's about how many, well actually it's about 15 minutes of afternoon left for me. And then it's evening. And Shifty Niffler has followed. There we go, right. So that's got enough lime. Drive this back to the farm. I'll probably go the scenic route this time. If I can avoid getting stuck on telegraph poles and pylons. I did originally want to remove all the collision on all the pylons, but that would have took me hundreds of hours in Giants Editor to click on every one and disable the collision. That cement mixer wasn't messing around, was he? Good morning from the west coast of the US. Oh, it's definitely morning in the west coast. Because you're, what, 7-8 hours behind us? So, yeah, it's definitely still morning there for you. You've probably just finished breakfast, haven't you? We drive down this road here. And this will take us nicely to the farm. 8:45 a.m. So you just had your cornflakes in your toast. Very nice. I will stop talking about food, otherwise I'm going to make myself very hungry. Ooh. There we go. Fill that up with more lime. Once it's full, put the rest in the silo, in the storage point for it. There we go. So. It's a lot slower, this truck, in reverse. There we go. That puts the rest of it in the silo for us. Why does it sound like... It sounds to me like there's a tractor or something running in that building. I may have to go and have a look at the tractors and make sure they are all turned off. I thought... I don't know why else that building would be making noise that otherwise. Right, that's that one there. See, can't hear anything outside the building. Different building. Wrong building. This is the workshop. If anything, I would expect this place to be noisy. Because of, it's a workshop. So why is the other building so loud? Unless, like I say, there is a tractor. No, none of the tractors are on. Unless it's the fans, these fan things making the noise, the air conditioning, because they're definitely not on. Right. Guarantee. I can guarantee on every map I play on, there's always some object that makes a lot of noise that annoys and irritates me. It was the diesel building on the last map. That made a racket. And this time it sounds like it's going to be that that fan in that building. Right, so we are now going to do the final field that needs its lime spreading application. which I do believe is field 19. And then we can start turning dirt. We can get the old plough out and start turning some dirt. Lower the booms. So I don't think these edges are like proper like edges of the field, because they're not getting limed. I think they're just decorative edges, these zigzaggy edges that Helgi was so concerned about. Someone's left a tractor here. Quick steal it. That is an old school John Deere, that is. Very old school John Deere tractor. So we're up here near the sheep. I want to say sheep area. Someone will probably tell me it's the cow area. I think this is sheep. The mini-map's a little bit too small for me to tell what that icon is. I know it's an animal pen of some description. Around the edges. See, a little bit of patch of weeds on this field as well. The password has indeed changed, yes, for the server. The password is now county. And that's all lowercase. So Lynx is joining, which means I'm going to have to probably sit and listen to the elevator music for 5 minutes when he starts to connect, because obviously he's a long way. He is definitely to the east, across the pond to the east, and obviously he has low high ping, which tends to cause quite a bit of a delay in the server connecting and linking up. Here he comes. Elevator music time. I don't have any, that's the problem. Need to find some. There we go, there's a bit of elevator. He's 4,000 miles away and he would walk 4,000 miles. He would walk 4,000 more just to be that man that had walked 4,000 miles to join a farm sim server. What is the orange circle you see when you press shift? Don't be pressing buttons. There's some mods I've installed that I haven't actually played with yet. I'm pressing shift and not seeing anything. Oh, no, no, no. No, I do not want to turn on sticky keys. Shift should just be the run button. That's to do with store deliveries, I think. Store deliveries mod. I haven't actually ever used that before. It's the first time I've actually ever used that mod. First time it's ever installed. Again, a lot of new things that are even new to me. There must be, so there's normally a, you place that as a point, don't you, somewhere? All to do with the auto loader. I'm not seeing any keybinds for that in my what are the buttons for it? How do you work it? I do not know. I have no idea. I'm just not going to press any... I'm not going to press left downshift. No, you can't join that farm. No one can. That's just there as a reminder to what we finished the Dondiego farm with. How much success we had on that map. Well, I don't miss squares. Frankly, this is going to be a lot more interesting to play, I think, this map. It's going to be much more interesting to farm because you've actually got to steer the vehicles. Squares got boring after a month of playing every day on just square fields. And it's not very real life and realistic. I've never seen a square field ever. I wonder if that... What needs doing? Well... I'm just doing the lime spreading on field 19. No, don't hire a worker. Stop. Press the wrong button. Let's go into the map for a second then. Well, basically, it's the first part of spring, so all the fields need to be ploughed. I'm just lime spreading the fields that need lime spreading, and then, as I say, all of our fields, so that's 18, 19, 33, 9, 10, 8, 7 and 11, they all need to be ploughed. And then we can think about planting them a little bit later on in the spring. Whilst I've got this stopped a second, let me just jump out. Let me see, because that thing's going to bug me now. So left shift out. See, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't give me a warning that that conflicts with anything. So I don't know. I don't know what mod or what causes that left. We do have a plough, yes. They are in the two little oval, white ovally shaped buildings. Farm buildings. They're in the left-hand side one as you look at them from the front. There should be two ploughs in there. No, there's two ploughs. They're John Deere ploughs. There's no cultivators. We don't own a cultivator. Don't need one. We're just going to plough every time on this map. After every harvest, we're not going to bother cultivating. We're going to be like proper Americans. We're just going to do tilling, as they call it. They're the exact same ploughs we had on the last server. The exact same ploughs as we had on Dondiego. So they are definitely ploughs. They've even got the crumbler bits on the back, I think. The spike tooth levelers or the crumbler rollers or whatever they're called this time round. They're the biggest ploughs I could find without going super ridiculous in size. That also had a horsepower that we've got tractors capable of pulling. Because I certainly didn't fancy ploughing all these fields with 3-metre ploughs. Because that would have took forever. Although we do have a 6-metre, there is a 6-metre ripper installed as part of the implement pack. The implement mod. And we're officially halfway through our first day. They do. The tractors do attach. You just have to manually attach all the equipment. Yes, we have the manual attach mod this time. So you have to get out and physically press the button and connect up the machinery. I hadn't used it previously because it didn't work very well for people playing with controllers like myself, and also the trigger points for where you had to stand to activate things were a little bit weird. But he has updated and fixed all that now, so you can fill your boots on all the manual attaching. Not that we have too much to worry about manually attaching. We've only got the, as I say, 2 ploughs and 2 seeders. They're the only things we have to attach to anything at this point in time. Weird that the field shows I've missed bits. So I wonder where Mr. Helgi is today. He's not been online today. It's quite unusual for him. I thought he would have been the first person on the map, new map. But he's been beaten to it. A big field as well. Wow. No, I do not want to save changes to keybinds. So the only fields that need to be lime spreaded. Good. I would have been a little bit annoyed if Seasons did that thing where every field you start with needs to be limed like the normal game does. But thankfully it seems to be a bit of common sense. Some of the fields needed to be limed, some of them didn't. Some of them are already fertilised, which is an even better bonus for us. Which means when we seed those fields, we're going to get two-stage fertilisation right off the bat, which is going to be very handy. Although there's 3 stages of fertiliser now, not just 2. Which means we are going to have to fertilise crops whilst they're growing at least once. This time around, which could be interesting because I haven't bought any vehicles with crop-friendly tyres thus far. This spreader doesn't have crop-friendly tyres. Don't think the Big Brute has crop-friendly tyres this time round. Tracked vehicles clearly are not going to be crop-friendly. So I can't even get like a little rear mounted sprayer for those. That's going to make it interesting, I think. Trying to achieve 3 stages of fertiliser on our crops. No, we need the big tractors to pull the plough and the seeders, so they need their big chunky wheels to give them the grip and the traction needed to pull those. And plus we're going to need like the 8R and 7R to pull trailers. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see whether, you know, we lose a lot by not having 3 stages of fertilisation. Because again, I'm thinking based on how big these fields are, we're going to get plenty of crop off them anyway. I would think. I know Helgi would be obsessed with yield, but I think we're going to get a lot of crop off the fields anyway, just because of the fact that the fields are massive. I don't know if Seasons makes changes to crop yields, crop sizes. like growth control did and realistic numbers does. I don't know whether Seasons goes that in depth or whether it still leaves that all vanilla and default. And I like how the weeds only grow in little patches like this and don't just completely take over a field. I think that's quite cool. Means you're probably not going to be so obsessed with having to do weeds all the time. You know, a field this size, if we've only got those two little patches to worry about, we'll probably be like, yeah, we'll leave them. It's not going to hurt us. Used all the lime again. GPS on and sit back. Yeah, I'm not using the GPS. I've got to turn corners all the time. Manchester United versus Milan today at the Principality Stadium. Really? I'm not going to watch that. Don't think I can. I don't think I can get MUTV on my Virgin Go app, unfortunately. Besides, I've watched the Formula 1 today. That's enough sport for one day. It'll start making me feel athletic if I watch too much. Might make me start feeling healthy. I wouldn't want that. Too many turns. We're not having squares. There will never be squares ever again. You won't be able to make them. Trouble is, as soon as you drive over it with the plough, the grass will disappear. So grass doesn't remove the field. Not really, it's not no problem at all. Once you've done a headland, one headland strip round the outside, or a couple of headland strips, it really isn't a problem. You can then go up and down and do your squares. I'll be glad to get this job done though, so then I can jump in a tractor and start ploughing. The one thing I hate about starting a new game in Farming Sim, how you have to bloody line the fields. Roosters do with the seasons mod, yes. Now we've got the seasons mod, the roosters have an effect. The roosters control how the chickens reproduce. The female chickens and the egg-laying chickens. Obviously, they don't affect the other male chickens that just make fat chickens for making like meat. But in the base game, without seasons, roosters have no effect whatsoever on egg production. So don't bother with roosters if you're not using seasons. Just use the normal. Just buy normal chickens. And in seasons as well, you have to have one rooster for every 10 chickens that you have. As well. So you have to have quite a few roosters. As far as I'm aware. This is literally my first time playing with the seasons mod in FS19, and I haven't really spent that much time looking into it beforehand. It's kind of, I'm going into it blind, and I'm going to see what it's about. We've decided to test it for a year, and if it's not all that good after a year, we'll remove it and carry on the server without it. Go back to playing regular. Yes, the snow in the winter, yes, Linksy. It really depends how you play the game, whether seasons is going to be for you or not. For me, I'm playing seasons because it gives me a chance to play the game a bit different And after, you know, after spending, you know, 1,400 hours playing Farm Sim, I like anything that makes the game different. So anything like that, although I'm not a big fan of the new global company mod thing that came out yesterday. I had a quick look at that last night. Didn't like the fact that they're trying to shoehorn in a lot of their own versions of other mods, and they throw up lots of error messages if you use other mods. I kind of like the factory buildings I've already got, and that we're going to be using on this server until they actually come out with proper actual like factories like on maps. Then I could see it being good for that, but again, until they remove their shoehorned in mods, I'm not a big fan of that global company thing. The fact that they don't want you to use place anywhere and want you to use their own version, which isn't as good, is a bit annoying for me. Because there's no way I could set up a server like this using their mod. Because I need to be able to place objects on land that we don't own. And I need to be able to place objects without deforming all the terrain. Give this a wash, then I can go grab a plough. He's not messing with the pallets. The Yogiland factory map. Okay. I've not seen that one. It's not one I've come across yet in my travels. Came out yesterday. Okay, that's probably why I haven't heard of it then. It came out yesterday. So which tractor? He's taken the... Okay, he's taken the 8R. Go grab a plough. Because of course yesterday I spent the whole day streaming on the Dondiego Map, so the 9R will be bigger than the 8R, yes, Linksy. Well, you grabbed the 8R. You didn't really leave me many options. I've only got the 9R cable, so I had to pick the one that can take the plough. You could have taken the 9R first. You didn't have to take the one out the corner. So on that Yogi Land map, what sort of production things has he got built into it? So all the basically all the stuff that we've already got all the buildings for anyway, but as mods that we can place where we want. Okay. See, I like the in some ways I like the idea of maps that have it built in, but then at the same time I like the option of being able to place the buildings where I want them. Make cakes or bread. So that sounds a bit like that Hofbergman map where you could make butter and cheese. Feel definitely needed 2 headlands. That's from tobacco. Ah, so it's got tobacco on the map. Ah, I see. That's naughty. That's naughty, that is. Putting tobacco on. Giants wouldn't be fans of that. Yeah, but tobacco's bad because tobacco goes into products like cigarettes and stuff, which are bad. You're not supposed to have out to do with those. You're not supposed to put stuff like that in children's games and media. Which is why that sort of thing would never be in the game from Giants. Yeah, but GTA isn't a children's game, is it? It's a 18 rated game. It's not supposed to be played by anyone under the age of 18. So that's the difference. Farm Sim's rated E for everyone, whereas GTA is rated obviously 18. Yeah, well, that's because they've got very bad parents who obviously don't take that much of an interest in what they're doing with their time. Certainly no child of mine would ever play GTA. Until they're 18. Same goes for any game that comes with a certificate. They will not play it until they are... they're old enough to play it. And if they want to race people, there's far more appropriate games they could play instead for racing people. Like they could play F1. They could play Gran Turismo. You know? If they want to play a racing game, hell, they could play Mario Kart. You clearly haven't played Mario Kart with the banana. Or the exploding mushroom. I'm not sure yet. I haven't got that far ahead to think about what we're going to be planting. Most important thing is getting all the fields ready to be planted first. Obviously it's a little bit too early to be doing any planting because the crops won't germinate at these temperatures. When it comes to something like canola, possibly canola, because canola would actually be at its highest sell point right around the time we'd be expected to harvest it, which means we wouldn't have to keep it in the silo for several months. Plus it's your favourite crop. It sounds like you want to be living in the some sort of Lincoln area of England, because all the farmers around Lincoln, all they grow is canola, because it's so flipping easy to grow. Takes no flipping skill. It's basically a weed. It'll grow anywhere, and they just grow every field with that because obviously they can sell it to the biofuel place that's in between Lincoln and Sleaford. That's why I prefer, when I'm out travelling about, I prefer going east across the... Oh, there's ducks. I prefer going east across the county because they have far more different crop types growing and planted. They grow like lots of like cereal crops. They grow lots of like cabbage, peas, stuff like that. As I say, you go towards Lincoln and it's just canola, canola, canola. It's like, geez, can't you grow something else? And plus I hate canola because this time of year when it's all yellow in the fields, you get all them horrible little black bug things. So the minute you go outside, you're just covered in those horrible little black bloody bug things. And they get everywhere. They're in your hair, and oh, you just sit here crawling in your skin because you know they're all over you. Plus, when I went east across the county the other week, I saw a lot more variety in the types of tractors and stuff that they were using on the fields. So playing my little game of I Spy the Tractor was a lot more fun. Yeah, it was a game that I never played until recently. I think the first time I sort of did it was earlier in the year when I was when I had to go, as I say, to Lincoln. And I don't enjoy travelling in cars at the best of times. So I was trying to distract myself from the journey by trying to see how many different tractors I could spot in the fields and see how many of them I've actually played and used in this game. And then when I went to Boston the other week, I did it again. And like I say, I got to see a lot more different tractors than I did when I went to Lincoln. So there was a lot more that I could say, yes, I've played in one of those. I've used one of those. I've got one of those on my farm, that sort of thing. But no, I don't get car sick in the sense of the traditional motion sickness that people get when they travel. I get sick because of my PTSD. That's why I don't like being in a car. Or any vehicle on the road. Now I did see somewhere over here somebody missed a spot, didn't they? Yeah, look, just up here, look. That's that field. So field 10 is now ploughed. Nearly. So next is field 11. I'm impressed. We've got all the fields live spreaded and we've even got one ploughed, and it's only 2:30 on the third day. I thought it was going to take a lot longer than this. "11 is the most rectangular field." So that's your field. Right, okay. Okay, so I will start on 8 then. Mr. Turtles, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. I have to fold up to get out of the game. Yeah, don't drive through the pylons. And that doesn't work. Unfortunately, all the little pylons have collisions. And I couldn't do anything about them in the editor because there's literally hundreds of them on this map, and to click on every single one and disable the collision would have took me more hours than I was prepared to do. But the big pylons and those like H-shaped pylons, they don't have collisions on them. I did take the collisions off all of those. But yeah, you've just got to watch out for the little pylons and telegraph poles around the outside of the fields and along the roadsides, because they do have collisions on them. Put this 9RT to good use. Probably should look out my window a bit more often where I'm going rather than where I've been. Cars flipping zip along on this map. The AI ones, they fly. Definitely don't get in their way, because they don't stop for anything and they will launch you. As I found out when I was setting this map up, one hit my bale trailer, completely flipped me over. I just stay off the road. I don't drive on the main road. That's my best way to avoid the car. Cement mixers are the scariest because they're big and they do some serious speed. Here comes one now, look. You watch this guy. Look at him, look. Meow. They don't move that fast in the regular game. You sit behind them for hours. They literally do like 20 miles an hour everywhere. The AI cars on the default Giants maps. And a lot of the mod maps. But there's a couple of mod authors that have cranked the speed up on their maps. This guy who made this map has clearly done it. And I know Alien Jim does it on his maps. He puts the speed up a little bit on the vehicles, which is nice, because they are a little bit too slow. But the downside is when the mod authors make them faster, they also then lose their ability to detect you as a player, so they don't stop if you drive in front of them, so then they just ram you. And they're like tanks, those little cars. They will completely launch this tractor into the air and flip it over. But, you know, first day of spring, early spring, it would be nice to have, as I say, a couple of fields ploughed by the end of it. We've got the lime spreading done. So then second day of spring, obviously carry on with the ploughing. And start getting some fertiliser put down, perhaps. I think one thing Seasons does that's a little bit different from the base game as well when it comes to weeds is weeds can grow at any time on any state of field. Hence why we've got weeds growing on fields that have been harvested. In the base game, weeds don't grow on fields that have been harvested, nor do they grow on fields that are ploughed. They only grow on fields that are cultivated or seeded. Whereas I think now there's the chance that weeds can pop up at any time. Thankfully, they only pop up in little patches, so they don't completely take over the field. So if you've got a crop that's just about ready to harvest and then all of a sudden weeds pop up on that field, you're not going to lose all your yield. Yeah, the weed mechanics from Seasons would be great in the base game. It would be much better, because the way Giants do the weeds in the base game is crap. For lack of a better way of putting it, it's crap. And that's the reason why most people turn the weeds off. Because you just get fed up of them. The only time I play with weeds is in multiplayer, because obviously there's enough people to deal with it. But in single player, I never play with weeds on. First time using the 9RT as well in the game. I've not used this tractor before. This is a relatively new mod from Custom Modding. The only thing I don't like about it, it doesn't have a proper 3-point hitch on the back. It's okay for pulling like this plough because it's a trailer bar, but some of the other equipment in game this tractor wouldn't be able to pull. It's a bit like the big buds in that regard. The big buds don't have proper 3-point linkages on the back, which makes them a bit of a nightmare to use with some equipment. We can use the big bud tillage thing, but at the moment, at this particular moment, we don't have a tractor that can pull it because it needs over 600 horsepower. And it's going to be a while before we can afford to buy a tractor with that kind of power. Plus, the big bud tillage tool itself is quite expensive to buy. That ain't cheap neither. Yes, unfortunately, my tractor's not that good. Unfortunately. So even my tractor wouldn't be able to pull the tillage, the big bud tillage. It's kind of why you need the big bud. You need either the big bud 600 or you need the 747. Does the tillage only need 500? Have I forgot to change it? Tillage 500. Ah, I see. See, it's because it's in a different mod folder I've uploaded. On Dondiego, it needed 650 horsepower because I changed it. I haven't done it on this folder. Because I felt it was a little bit unrealistic that you would pull a 24-metre plough with 500 horsepower at the speed that that tillage machine goes at. So I made it require more horsepower to make it need then to be pulled by the big buds, or in our case the Fendt Tri-6, which we used, because it seems very it seems a bit silly if you've got a piece of equipment like that you can pull with any old tractor in the game. Kind of defeats the purpose of it. You know, the clue's in the name. It's the big bud tillage. Kind of implies that you should be pulling it with the big buds, or you need to pull it with the big buds because they've got the power to handle it. Whereas, you know, all the normal tractors in the game wouldn't be able to cope with it. These ploughs are fine. These ploughs are okay. They've got a good balance between a decent working speed of 12 mile an hour and a decent working width of, you know, 15 meters. There was a little, there was a 9-meter version that I found online last night of this as well. Someone's released or made. Yeah, don't drive onto the road. I told you, stay off the roads because the cars will kill you. On this map. You don't have to drive off the field, so... Of course you can help it. Forgot to do a header. You should always do headers. And you should always do 2, so then you can turn on field. Almost done 10. Good. Hold on a minute, we've done 10. You was on 11, weren't you? Or should have been. We did 10 ages ago. 10 was the first field we ploughed. Have you gone back and ploughed field 10 again? Giving it its second ploughing. You survived going on the road. I haven't watched Game of Tractors, no. Of course I watched Game of Thrones. Everybody's watched Game of Thrones. Everyone's watched Game of Thrones unless you live under a rock. Live in a cave with no electricity and running water and stuff. Of course the ending was crap. That's what happened when they ran out of books. That was the problem with fucking Georgie boy, fat boy, who didn't finish writing the books. Can only blame himself. He should have finished the series. He should have finished writing his books, and then they could have made the show. But no, he writes like one word a year. He's never going to finish those books. He'll be dead before that. He'll die before he's ever finished them books. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Just look at him. He's a heart attack waiting to happen. Oh, George R. Martin. At least that's the thing. The Witcher series is going to be a lot better than Game of Thrones, because at least those books were all finished. So the whole show is there laid out on the page from start to finish. They haven't got to make anything up themselves. Well, they always had a big budget because obviously they were a HBO show. Game of Thrones was HBO, so they always had money. You know. The problem was once they got to that point where they got ahead of the books and they were making stuff up as they went along, and then they didn't have any idea. They didn't have good enough writers to tell a good story after that point. They kind of ended up like Lost. That was another show that was crap ending. Probably not working this field very well. I probably should have worked it the other way, lengthways, as opposed to crossways. Field 11 is done. Well then, field 7 next then. Unless you're heading over to field 8 to help me. So the weather forecast for today and tomorrow is going to be cloudy. Wow. With the sun starting to... Oh, it's going to rain later on in the week. Gonna rain. The rain. The rain. Will night be sped up? Yeah, probably. We'll probably sleep through the night bit. Get to the mornings. Bit like we did on Dondiego. Unless there's anything really critical and crucial that we need to do to warrant us playing through the night. Like if we need to get crops harvested or something like that, then we'd probably carry on. And get the harvesting done. Okay, that's fine. And carry on ploughing. Field 1 is the most rectangle. I've not really looked. I've not really studied the map that closely to gauge where all the fields are. I know the two biggest fields are a bit up sort of north of us. The near 200 acre fields. Yeah, 26 and 30, I think they're the two biggest fields on the map. I'm certainly doing a better job of ploughing than the Top Gear boys did. I haven't felt the need to run out and grab the dynamite yet to plough the field, like Clarkson did in that episode. Love the sound of that aeroplane. What is the most common thing you see where you live? In what regards? Common thing I see where I live? I don't know really. I don't really see a lot. It's not very often I venture out anywhere to see anything. Oh, you live in a desert, so you're bound to see a lot of sand. I suppose if I had to pick anything, most common thing I see, it's probably, based on the town where I live, it's most probably pubs, charity shops, fast food takeaways, and Polish supermarkets. You walk down our high street and that's all it is. Pubs, charity shops, fast food places, and Polish shops. Supermarkets, off licenses, that sort of thing. And of course all the takeaways are on Just Eat, so they've all got the Just Eat freaking board outside, hanging off the walls, which you bang your head on when you walk past. You would think they'd have put them higher up on the buildings. Saying that, it's Saturday night. I probably ought to log on to Just Eat in a minute and order my dinner, as it's 6:20. What am I going to have for dinner tonight? I had chippy tea last night. What should I have tonight? Sure. Indian, maybe? Chinese? Now, definitely wouldn't have eggs because I'm very allergic to eggs, so they definitely wouldn't have eggs, and I'm not a big baked bean fan. Unless it's on pizza. I eat baked beans on pizza, but I won't eat them on anything else. Yeah, you've never done that. You've never got a pizza base. You make your own pizza base, put your own sauce on, put your own cheese on it, and then put baked beans on it and sausages and bacon. You've never done that. They're awesome. I used to like it when Heinz made a sausage and baked bean pizza, but then Heinz stopped making them. So then ever since then I've always made my own after that. I can't see how difficult it is. It's basically a tin of Heinz sausage and beans and you put it on the pizza. You won't. It's really, really nice, actually. I do advise, though, maybe straining the baked beans and sausage so you remove a lot of the sauce. Otherwise, it just sort of dribbles off the pizza when you're trying to eat it, and you end up having to eat your pizza with a knife and fork. I could order pizza, I suppose. There's that place I ordered from the other week, which sent me 2. And they were like 16-inch pizzas. They were massive. But then again, I probably won't get 2 this time because I wouldn't be a brand new customer anymore because I've ordered from them before. Lynx is gone. His game crashed. That means there's a random tractor now parked somewhere in the middle of a field that I will have to go and retrieve at some point. Well, at least now you get to play GTA. Okie dokie, well, I don't know if I'll be still around later or not. How long have I been streaming for now? Just over 3 hours. I'll probably stream for a little bit longer, but then I will have to take a break to get my dinner. And then I don't know whether I'll be back tonight or not, or because I've got a couple of videos I need to be editing and rendering. There's the ducks again. Call of the Wild, get the shotgun out, shoot them. Certainly need to try and get Field 8 finished before I call it a night. Game, innit? It's been 4:30 now in game, or 4:20 in game. Being stalked by the crows. Not sure that 4-wheel drive and diff locks particularly work on a tracked vehicle. Not sure how the enhanced vehicle mod manages to do that. There's no leaves on the trees because it's spring. Can't wait to see the trees go green during the year and get leaves on them, and then go brown in the autumn, and then go back to being twigs in the winter. Lynxy was over there somewhere. He hasn't done a headland again, which is making life difficult for himself. Supposed to get dark earlier in the winter and spring with seasons, so it's going to be interesting to see what time I have to put the headlights on this tractor. has done a nice little save. I'm not so sure whether I like the 9RT tractor or not. I kind of prefer the RX, the actual normal 9R and the 9RX. I wasn't a big particular fan of the 8RT when I first used that. I kind of felt they were a little bit underpowered. Especially when you compared it to like the Fendt tracked vehicles. The two John Deere ones were very low powered in comparison to the Fendt. Now when I did my Fenton Forest series, I didn't use any of the tractors with like the tracks, because they just didn't seem to have a lot of grip and pulling power. It's like they didn't have any torque. And the tracks didn't seem to have a great deal of friction. They would slide and spin all over the place. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how things go. Like I say, in the winter when it snows, that should be pretty cool. Because we have to clear the road of snow. We've got the snow plough, and we'd have to go around and clear the roads, which is why we own all the roads on the map. Because obviously to clear the snow off them, you've got to own them. So I imagine there'll be quite a lot of mod maps coming out in the future where you own all the roads that run around the map. On this map, they're free. They don't cost anything, so you can buy the roads and they don't cost you anything, which is a good way of doing it. Which is obviously quite a bit different to say a map like I think it was Marwell Manor when that first come out, that had a bit of land that you had to buy and it cost like 17 million. And you had to buy it if you wanted to be able to like feed chickens or pick up the pallets of chickens, the eggs. I know in an update he then changed it and made it 3 and gave it to the player when they started in new farmer mode. But still, it was quite an expensive thing, so yeah, being given the road system when you first start the game is pretty cool. It's a bit like how some map makers give you the BGA automatically when you load their map, so you don't have to buy it to use it. However, what I would prefer to see is them build the BGA into the map like any other sell point. So again, it's just a regular sell point, so you don't need to own it. That's how I would prefer to have the BGAs on the map. That way everyone can use the BGA. Because obviously in multiplayer, the first farm that buys the BGA gets the BGA, and then the other farms are all screwed. So I'm glad I own the BGA on this map. All the other farms are screwed. Not that there is any other farms. No, Linksy mentioned the Dondiego one, but that's just as a reminder to us of how much money we had at the end of the Dondiego series. So obviously the goal will be on this map to have more money than that. by the time we're done. Before we move on to whatever map comes after this one. If indeed we're still playing the game at that point. It's also nice to see the fuel and the def being used up a little bit quicker in the vehicles. That's another new mod that we're using this time round on the server that we didn't use previously. Got the fuel usage mod, which increases fuel usage across the board, or should do if vehicles have been set up properly and their XMLs are configured correctly. So some mods which are really poor conversions of FS19 mods might not work with it too well, which is what I noticed when I used the when we used the auto maintenance mod on the last server. There was a lot of vehicles and equipment it couldn't actually repair automatically because they hadn't been set up properly by the mod makers. We're not using the auto maintenance mod this time round. I don't think it's seasons compatible anyway, because obviously seasons changes the maintenance of vehicles. It separates the normal vehicle wear from the visual wear. So you can have really like banged up, beat up, scratched, dented looking tractors that are still, you know, maintained and running in good nick. If you want to fix the appearance of the tractors, you have to repaint them with seasons. So when you repair them, it doesn't just instantly make your tractor look like new again. Your tractor still looks old and used. I'm noticing I've done quite a bit of ploughing already, and this tractor is at 3% damage, and the tractor is at 3.7. That would usually be so much higher. So seasons, I think, changes how fast equipment wears out, but at the same time, when you do come to repair it, I think it's quite expensive. It's a lot more expensive than the base game to repair a machine. So it swings and roundabouts, as they say. There's that little patch of weeds, look. They'll be gone in a moment when I run over them. Cars are whizzing around the map. Cars are whizzing around the map real fast. This field finished off, and then we'll move over, finish off field 7 that Linksy started. That will not be a bad first day on the new server, the new map, and the first obviously day of spring in seasons to get 3 fields ploughed, 4 fields ploughed even, and ready to have whatever done to them next. Obviously there's a few more fields that need to be ploughed tomorrow. Hopefully Helgi will be around then, so he can maybe do a little bit. It's starting to get dark. Night's kicked in, lot, because the hood's changed colour. But the seasons bit of the hood isn't affected by the smart hood thing. That's interesting. That's probably a mod that will need to be updated to make it be able to work with seasons. So you can hide the seasons, or make the seasons thing the same colour. Field 8 is done. Ploughed. Excellent. We've got any contracts, by the way? We have got cultivating contracts. However, we don't own a cultivator. That's going to make it very difficult. How much is a cultivator? If we wanted, say, what did we have? We had the Knockling all-rounder, which is a 14.5 metre cultivator. It's about the same size as the plough. Good evening then, Shifty Niffler. Thank you for watching the stream. Hopefully see you again sometime. So, yeah. So obviously the plan on our farm is that, or my plan on this farm is that we're never going to cultivate, because there's not, I didn't think there was any point cultivating. We might as well just plough after a harvest, fertilise, plough, then seed. So I thought having a cultivator was a waste of time. But we may need a cultivator to be able to do contracts. But they don't pay that much. They don't pay a great deal, and the fields are really big. on this map. So, you know, if they're offering us like, you know, a, you know, Field 14 Dondiego map, you know, 80 grand to cultivate a field, then yeah, it's worth doing. But, you know, not 32 grand to harvest a field, cultivate a field. I don't even know what fields. What's a big field? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Big fields. 26 or 30 we're looking for. Maybe 31. None of those are on there, so... I mean, 17's offering 41 grand, which is the highest price. So how big is Field 17? Field 17's that one there. Which is 154 acres. So it's bigger than Field 14 on Dondiego. By another 50%. It's 50% bigger than the field on Dondiego, but it's actually paying only half as much money. Methinks you can jog on there, Mr. Farmer. Contracts are not going to make us a lot of money on this map. But yeah, it definitely gets darker earlier in game with seasons. It's only 26 minutes past 5 and I'm having to put the headlights on. We've got the pig place over here. This is the pig farm. We don't own this land yet, so we can't do pigs yet. We need to get a lot of crop in the silo before we start thinking about pigs. I'd also need to check on the pig food mod. See if that I think I've got it we've got it installed, but I don't know if that's compatible with seasons or not. That's probably something we should have checked. I should have checked. I hope it is, because the pig food mod definitely makes it easier to look after pigs. You just need to feed them pig food to get 100% production. Which might be interesting on this as well, because I haven't got any mods that affect the animal production this time around. So we're only going to get the default values for manure and slurry and stuff. One of the reasons why I think straw is going to be a big thing. Straw and silage is going to be a big thing this time round for us. Especially if we want to get that digestate to be able to make fertiliser. Being able to get a production building in place fairly early is also going to be quite important. Again, we don't really have the money. How much is a production building, for example? 125 grand. Ouch. If I want solid fertiliser, 125 grand. Ouch. Well, it's been an early day of spring. It's a day 2 of spring. Day two of 6 is going to be interesting because we've got a few more fields we need to plough. And then we'll need to start the seeding. There's them ducks again. If this was Call of the Wild, you'd take them out with a shotgun. Using some bird shot. Little patches of weeds on this field. Three times speed's about right. I think it just gets through the day. It gets through the day quite quickly. But still enables us enough time to actually get stuff accomplished. Although obviously if Helgi was here, we'd probably have it on 5 times. Because he's pretty good. He's a pretty efficient worker. Hop out of the 9RT. I'm going to go grab the tractor from over here. The one that Linksy was using. We'll get the rest of this field ploughed. Look, if you do 2 headlands, you have plenty of room to turn around on the field. You don't have to drive into the roads. I'll have to check what that mod is, that when you press left shift and left out, it produces that orange circle. That's something I've got to look into. Find out what mod that is that causes that. And what the purpose of it is. Hey look, there's the BGA. $30, aircon's going back on for a bit. What will be doing with 30 degrees? I feel myself starting to get very warm, and that would be why. Oh, getting some lag. Fucking evening and it's pitch black. Look, night has fallen. I haven't seen the farm at night yet, so it'd be interesting when we go back there, because obviously I don't know whether we're going to need to place any spotlights around the farm. Tractor's still over there with the lights on. Still see the cars driving around. Nice to see we're using fuel up as well. That's good. I wanted a little bit more realistic fuel usage on this map. It looks like we've got it. Which means people are going to have to fill up their, refuel their vehicles. And they will have to do it because I'm not going to go around refueling all the vehicles for everyone. I'm not playing like the mother hen role this time round. Doing all the housekeeping and all the chores. The other players are going to have to chip in and do that stuff as well. Otherwise, if I'm going to be doing all the housework and all the chores, I'm not going to do the field work. And I think that's fair. I don't know why, but I always feel that the rear lights should be more red than orange on the vehicles. I'm probably going to have to go and have a look at that Yogi Bear map thing. Whatever it is. Have a look at that, see what it's like. Obviously I'm still looking for a map to do a single player Let's Play series on. That might then have might offer me something slightly different to do. Providing I don't have to use like pallets and stuff for the production stuff, because I'm not going to be transporting and moving pallets around. I don't do any of that pallet lifting, stacking and stuff. Not a front loader, telehandler type person. Near the ducks again. Where's the shotgun? I bet Helgi's playing Call of the Wild, because I sent him that trainer thing. I found a trainer online yesterday that I sent him because he'd had a problem after the last update that they released for the game in the week, where it deleted all his money and all his progress. But then he kind of cheated because he actually put more money back in than he originally had. So obviously he can now buy all the weapons and stuff. Which is a little bit cheaty. I mean, you could have edited it to the value. When you hit the add money button, you can actually change the value set to that, to only add a certain amount. So he could have added the exact amount he previously had, but no, it was easier for him just to add a couple of $100,000, wasn't it? Dirty cheater. Hacker cheater. He's a hacker cheater. And we see that in this game as well, because he's always speed seeding, cheat speeding. He's always cheat speeding, as I call it, where he double X's whenever he's in a seeder, or anytime he's in a plough or a cultivator, he tries it and then he ends up messing up because it doesn't work on those machines. Right, I've nearly finished field 7. I've got a little bit to do, one more little bit there, little triangle wedgy bit, and then that'll be done. So quick spin round here, do that, drop the thing. All in all, that's not good going. Not bad going for the first day. GPS is doing that weird thing again where it doesn't want to let me turn. There we go. So we've got all the fields lined. We've got 4 fields ploughed. That's not bad for our first day of spring. Like I say, probably up the speed one more to 4 times. I think 4 times is about right, I do believe, for getting through the day. Because we started just after 8, it was after 8 AM when we started in game today. So we'd be starting about 7 o'clock in the morning. That's normally what time, 7:30 is normally what sort of time I would sleep the night till. So we're going to gain about an hour of farming time anyway each day, and then obviously as the year progresses and it gets lighter, and it's lighter till like 7:30, 8 o'clock, we'll still be working throughout the summer months. So I need to put this why has he opened up the wrong shed? You didn't need to open that shed. I said the leftmost shed was the one with the ploughs in. And he's opened up the cedar shed. Right, no, don't switch off, because we need to disconnect. There we go. Manual attach mod for the win. Or look, why is all the buildings open? Who's been flipping snooping? He's been snooping. That links, he's been snooping. He has. Whoa. Don't need to be snooping in the buildings. Save some surprises. You know, save some surprises for later on. We'll close this shed up because we don't need anything in there. Where do I place this one? I'm not very good at driving tracked vehicles, you may have noticed. Yeah, we could maybe do with a couple of spotlights, I think, on this map. It placed. Placed. So this is fairly well lit round here. It's just a bit dark, although there is a light outside there. I put one there. And one there. That'll do. Sheds a bit of light on the front of that shed. Right, I need to have a run there. I need to get my tractor, which I think's parked down here. I think I can still see the lights on. There we go. That's as bright as it gets. Okay. I think I'll leave this plough attached to this tractor because obviously I'm going to need this again tomorrow to carry on ploughing. Bring it over here. Let's give it a wash. Right, switch the bacons off. There we go. Thank you everyone who has tuned in to tonight's stream. Thank you very much indeed. I will be back again very soon, obviously with some more content, coverage of this. Hopefully when we've got Helgi and that playing, that would be quite nice. So maybe tomorrow I'll be streaming. Depends obviously what time the Grand Prix finishes in the afternoon. But I should be streaming tomorrow, hopefully, some more of this. So, thank you everybody. I will see you all again another time. Good night for now.